Hey family, good morning. Listen, we're live. Let's go. Welcome to the Strong Talk, where only the strong survive. Listen, let's get it started. I could not wait to get on here this Monday morning. Tired and all, because we really need to talk. Listen, so I don't know how God talks to y'all, but I had a conversation in prayer time. Feel like my earrings? I had a conversation in prayer time, talking to the Father, which I do. And he told me, he said, you're operating too low. And I was like, okay. He said, you're talking, but you're not talking strong enough. So we're going to talk strong this morning. I have a controversial topic, and the topic is I get high. And one of the things that I pray during my prayer time is, God, don't allow me to think of myself more highly than I should. God, keep me humble before your throne. I don't care how much money I make. I don't care what degrees that I have. Father, never allow me to think of myself more highly than I should. And I believe that kind of keeps me grounded. And I'm realizing, and I'm not a bandwagon type of person, but it's a lot that's going on in the streets, and especially in the church streets, I would say. And I call it civil war, but it's so funny how, when you're up and up, you're helping everybody. You're saying a word to them, you're speaking to them and everything. Everybody's on your bandwagon. And when there's a perceived fall, people are quick to bandwagon before they even have a conversation. And typically it's friendly fire, meaning that it's typically amongst those who are supposed to be your comrade, your brother and your sister. And if you have ever went through any situation, I'm already talking already. If you've ever been through anything, if you ever have fallen, if you've ever done something you're not so proud of, and you have felt the repercussions of your decision, and God graced you to get back up from the decision that you made, from the fall that you had, you will be very quickly to give grace before you crucify. And I don't know where all this, we have become so far away from what God intends for us as the ecclesia, as the people of God. And a lot of people that watch these Strong Talks, which I love you so much, they're not really church, and I prefer that. They're not really church, because I'm all about relationship. Do I believe in the church? Yes. Actually, one of my platforms and one of my stances is still preaching and proclaiming that a portion of the church is still safe. Those that truly operate and follow Christ, as we have been taught, there are still some foundational members that know how to do people right, how to love, how to extend love and compassion and empathy and all the different things that Christ taught when he was here for a period of time, when he was walking the earth. There are some people that still believe in that. There are some people who still operate in that don't really care about having the mic. It's my favorite pen. More so, beyond the mic, literally, how am I on a regular basis? Am I so high-minded? Am I such a preacher? Am I such a part of the... trying to be careful how I say this. A part of those who are preferred, whether it be in your job, in your organization, in your ministry. Am I so preferred that I can't speak to people? I am very careful on how I represent God. And when you get too high-minded, see, y'all thought I was talking about substances. We can go a whole nother realm with that. I might go there, I don't know. But when you get too high-minded, you forget to level yourself and remember that we got all this by the grace of God. None of us is worthy of it. None of us could have paid for it. Literally, none of us could have. However, because of God's grace, because of his mercy, literally, we are not consumed. Kiana's not consumed. Actually, every time I wake up in the morning, I'm grateful because he kept me another day so I can make a better decision. And truthfully, you have to make a decision. These times that we're going through, We got to get back grounded into community, into culture, the things that we saw coming up. I saw, my grandmother helping those who she knew, who she did not know. She didn't have much. You would not have known, because it didn't stop her from helping. It didn't stop her from loving. There were time periods where there were cycles of people coming through our home. That's why to this day, I know how to live with people. And it was even prophesied years ago by, we always talk about Apostle Julia Williams, that families would have to start living together. And if you're too high-minded, you won't be able to even bring yourself down to be able to be touchable with people. We got a lot of stuff going on where we're just not even touchable. We're too high. We're too high. You have to stay humble. You got to stay between the porch and the altar. That's when you think of the posture of prayer. One of the main postures of prayer that you think about is the folding. You're going like this. You think about the kneeling, staying low so that God may exalt you in due season. Not Key will exalt herself in due season. Part of the issue that we have is that people have an issue, a deep-seated issue that they need some therapy for in series of deliverance. And this is why it's very quick. You're so quick. It's easy for you to see somebody in a situation and the first thing you want to do is crucify. Versus God, we don't even go to God anymore. Say, God, what should I wear? What should I do? How should I go about this? And I've been thinking about it. I've been praying about it. And I said, somehow we have forgotten. We've forgotten how good God has been. We have forgotten where he has brought us from. We have forgotten I think about the Scarlet Letter. I don't know if you guys read that story or watched the movie coming up in school. And just the shame that was placed upon. It's so many things in our individual lives where we should be shamed for. To the point where, yes, no, you shouldn't go around here doing whatever you want to do. You have to have some level of moral, some level of standard, some level of Holy Ghost if you believe in it. If you say you got it, I get a little confused. But my desire is that we get low in the face of God so that we can respond as the church. This civil war that's going on amongst us, it's nothing but a distraction. It's so much stuff that's going on that we need to be focused on. We need to be prayerful about. We need to literally be saying, God, what should I do with my money? What should I do with this level of food? Let me start changing my appetite to where I'm not overindulging. We're still on, how can I get dressed up for the next convocation, and can I get the next red bottoms? How can I look better or perceive myself to be better than the next one? At our church, Apostle has been preaching on pretty much how you should take care of the widows and how you should take care of those and seeing those that have a need. Don't overlook them. You too good. I will never forget, years ago, I was at a convocation with the late Apostle Marguerite Winley. And it was this big convocation in a hotel in Delaware. And I tell the story all the time. And in this hotel in Delaware, one of the mothers on the first floor, they had coffee pots. So I'm going to set the fire alarms off. So the whole first floor in the middle of convocation was flooded. And, sprinklers were going off. Water was everywhere. And I remember a bishop, and I'm not going to say his name, but I highly respect him to this day because he's known to wear very nice stuff, expensive shoes. And you would think he would be the type of person like, oh, I'm not helping. I'm not getting my feet wet in water. I seen him in his red bottoms, his expensive shoes, walking down the corridors, helping the people of God. He rolled his pant legs up, walking down the corridor, helping the older women, helping the people of God get their stuff out of, it's pouring down water everywhere. It was nothing for him to stop. We got to return to that. We're too high. We're too high. And I don't even want to begin to discuss substance because, now that it's legal, y'all don't want to discuss certain substances. But that is nothing but a smokescreen to keep you oblivious to what's really, y'all don't like this type of talk. Good morning, my love, but I am going to say it. It's a smokescreen to keep you off balance, to keep you with a temporary high. A temporary high so you can't focus on what's really going on. I'm talking about getting high. Too high. You're so high that you are untouchable. too high. And I think about in the medical field, right? We have this thing where we say that the nurses always eat their young. And I remember when I first got out of nursing school, I wanted to be an ER nurse. And at the time, that wasn't allowed. You had to kind of work on the floor for 2 years and stuff like that. But I was determined that I was going to be an ER nurse. And one of the things that really scared me was that you had all these other nurses who have been doing it for years. It's already scary. I'm a new grad coming into emergency medicine or whatever. And I was like, I got to overcome this fear, because at the end of the day, I want to be an emergency nurse. And it was this one nurse. She was older, but she didn't take no tea for the fever. See, I had already been prepared because I had Audrey Simpson as a grandmother. So I said, you know what? Who you want to be your preceptor? You have these choices. I said, I want that one. They looked at me like, the mean one? I don't know how God's going to do it. But one thing I have witnessed is I've witnessed her help to save lives. I have witnessed her. I'm literally stand down these other doctors and nurses to save a life. She knows her stuff. I don't care how hard she is. I don't care how high she thinks she is. I'm going over there and getting what I need. Do you know how many people want to come to you? They want to talk to you. They want to pick your brain, but you're too high. You have a perceived look of being. You walk into a room, you don't even remember your first manners of speaking. When you walk, the way I was taught, you walk into a room, you say, hi, everybody. I don't care if they don't like you. How you doing? I teach my son that. Open up your mouth. I don't care if they don't like you. I don't care what they're doing in this day. You literally have to have the posture now. I don't care what they're doing. I don't care what is common. God save us from this untoward generation that somehow forgot how you brought us out of Egypt. Somehow have forgot who you called us to be. We're kings, we're queens, but we're also touchable to a certain extent. We got to return to that, people. Listen, during this week, during this season, some people do Ash, Lent, Feast on Unleavened Bread, these different things. Some of the leavening that we need to get out of us is thinking that we're more high than we should. We think of ourselves on a platform that we are. Who are you? Who do you think? Sometimes I had to say, who do you think you are? I never want to be that person. And I would encourage you all not to be that person. In these times that we're dealing with right now, you don't know who you're going to have to hit up because they have a connection so you can just have food in your house. You don't know. You have no idea of with the loss of jobs, even in the medical field. We got an alert recently that they're going to be cutbacks, and it was very vague. It sounded very good. And I said, oh, so they're going to do cutbacks. The whole premise of this whole email was they're going to do cutbacks. You could be making $250,000 one day and have no job the next day, because at the end of the day, I promise you, you're not as you're not on the high platform that you think you are. This is where people go astray. And I think I like to talk about this in the prophetic, even in teaching. When you get to a place, I should say, some people do. When you get to a certain place where you go and start relying more on yourself than on God, you've gone off track. You got to take a pause. You got to step back. I don't care if you're itinerant. I don't care who you are. You got to step back and you got to get back. It's very easy not to be grounded. But you know, the sad commentary is those of us who are intercessors and pray, instead of us interceding and praying for the person, behold, I show you a mystery. Y'all don't like this type. Behold, I show you a mystery. You got to pray for those who have the voice of the people at a certain time. Our president, itinerant preachers, the popular prophet, those who are head of companies. You got to pray for them, and you got to remember, and you got to stand on, you got to believe in the power of prayer before you start to do other things. Because one day, that person can be you. What am I saying this morning, everybody? Come down from your high place, get on your knees and pray. Come from out of all of these substances that are comfortable and keep you pacified. Remember who you are, but at the same time, be humble. I love y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day.